Hello, everyone. It is I, Buckeye Mike, back again for yet another video. And you may be asking yourself, Mike, what are you going to talk about in this video? The Oklahoma Sooners, baby. The one, the only, the used to be awesome, but Oklahoma Sooners. The is just, in my opinion, they are on a down slope right now. So maybe a lot of people feel that way, but let's get into it. Today, we're going to break down the 2023 Oklahoma Sooners football schedule. Now, before we get to the schedule, I want to discuss some of the key things from last year. Like, for example, remember, and kind of cut him some slack, that last year was Brent Venables' first year as a head coach. And where did he decide to come to? He decided to come back to his alma mater, the Oklahoma Sooners. Brent is very defensive-minded, which is good because there's not usually a whole lot of defense in the Big 12. So that is definitely a plus for Oklahoma. Plus, I think it was a smart move as they start to slowly transition to the SEC. So overall, I think it was a smart hire. They did go 6-7 last year, which is to be expected for a first-year head coach. And the rankings, as we will look at in a little bit, definitely show why Oklahoma went 6-7. Dillon Gabriel is returning as the starting QB for your Oklahoma Sooners. Now, I didn't really know how I felt last year about this pickup in the transfer portal of Dillon Gabriel. Just because of, like I said, Venables being a defensive-minded coach and Dillon Gabriel coming in from UCF and being a quarterback. So it's been tricky. We've had some growing pains here at Oklahoma, but that's okay. I do think, as we notice here, that Oklahoma's due for a bounce back for sure. 6-7, which placed them at 74th in the entire college football. 3-6 in the Big 12. They scored 427 points. They averaged 33 points per game, which put them at 33rd in the country. They gave up 390 points. So obviously all their games were close. There was no such thing as a blowout. And for Brent being a defensive-minded head coach, that needs to change and head in the right direction. I think it could. It's just a matter of how long he's even there to start the change. If he's given an actual chance to have and to have and do the change. Opponents averaged 30 points a game, which is 99th in the country. Strength of schedule for Oklahoma last year was 8.52, which was 26th. Strength of schedule was 6.37, which was 10th. The SRS for Oklahoma was 8.52, which was 26th. And, of course, everyone remembers the Cheez-It Bowl, Oklahoma's bowl game last year against Florida State when they did lose to the Seminoles 35-32. Now, I do think as we kind of dive into the averages here, as you can tell, pretty balanced offensively. 475 yards total offense. But the key is on the defense. They need to, the total offense given up by the defense is 461 yards, on average 5.7 yards. They need to bring the average down, the total yards down, and the total plays down. Of course, the difference there needs to be bigger, not smaller like it is. This is the rest of it here. So overall in 2022, I think we for the most part got what we kind of expected out of Oklahoma. I do think they need to, for sure, start to move and transition towards turning things around and being overall better under Venables will be key. Obviously, he's the head coach. So it'll be interesting to see where Venables goes, like what direction he takes the team and what direction the offense goes under Venables, for sure. The defense obviously should still be stellar defense, 100%. All right. Now, the schedule. All right. So, as I look over the schedule, Arkansas State, to me, win. SMU, that could be a tight one, win. At Tulsa, win. Those three you've got to slaughter, for sure. SMU, I think you could afford a close one, but for your safety, Oklahoma, just slaughter those three. The first big game for Oklahoma is going to be up here at Cincinnati. Now, I was trying to get tickets for that game, but tickets for that game are outrageous. So, sadly, I will have to watch that one from home. That being said, I think Cincinnati, after losing Luke Fickell, they still have Fickell pieces in place, but I don't really know for certain whether Cincinnati is complete enough as a whole of a team to be able to really compete with Oklahoma at this moment. Now, this is the only crack they'll get at Oklahoma while being in the same conference. I think Oklahoma steals a win here. I wouldn't be shocked if Cincinnati wins, but I'm going to scratch this up for an Oklahoma W. That puts you at 4-0. Now you have Iowa State at home, neutral site with Texas. Those two games right there are key. Iowa State, I like where Matt Campbell has Iowa State, but I think overall that Oklahoma is just going to overpower Iowa State, and that's a W. That's 4-0. 5-0. Texas is the key. Oklahoma could probably afford to lose this game to Texas, because if they can win out, Texas wins out, they'll meet again in the Big 12 championship. I think personally, if you lose to Texas, you're going to have to keep it close. I like what Texas does. I think Texas is the second, possibly first biggest threat to Oklahoma. So I am going to go with Texas on this one. I'm leaning Texas really hard. I think Texas has a lot of potential, as we will cover that in the Texas video. I like the direction of both Oklahoma and Texas are going, so it's really a toss-up for me. But like I said, I'm leaning Texas. And what a perfect way to rebound. You have UCF coming back home. So after you start 5-1, you have UCF in the next game at home in your first and only Big 12 matchup against them. UCF, not as big as the rest of the Big 12. I don't believe they are currently positioned properly to be able to hang with the big boys. I expect Cincinnati and UCF to not do as well as maybe a lot of people think. So for that one, I'm chalking that up for a W for Oklahoma. Kansas, W, there's no doubt. I like the direction Kansas is going. I like what the program is doing. I like the coaching staff over there. They're really good. They're working towards making Kansas relevant again, which is a good thing for the university and the program. So that's good. But I think it's a W for Oklahoma. Now, Stillwater, which I want to take a moment and say, I personally do not like the placement of this game. This is your biggest rival. It should be the last game of the year. That's rivalry week. That's where it should be. All right, but you're at Oklahoma State. You're in Stillwater. I'm chalking this one up to be a close one. And because Texas already beat you in my book, for Oklahoma to do something this year, they cannot afford to lose this game. This game is going to be in their heads for a while. I think Oklahoma State's the home team. The atmosphere is different in Stillwater. It's overall just better in Stillwater. I think Oklahoma pulls off the upset. Oklahoma State pulls off the upset here. So that gives you 2 losses on the year. West Virginia. West Virginia is in a spiraling downfall right now. And I think, in my opinion, that this is just basically chalked up to be yet another W for Oklahoma. Now, I don't think Oklahoma's going to go out there and curb stomp West Virginia. I don't think that at all. But we've seen crazier things. But I think this is a W for Oklahoma, putting them at 8-2 with 2 weeks left. You've got newcomer in the Big 12, BYU. So you end up playing 3 of the 4 newcomers in the Big 12. And you have TCU. I think this is where Oklahoma crumbles and starts to fall apart because BYU, the way that they're built, yes, they are missing key pieces than we've seen recently in the past, but I think BYU has enough there. And it's not Lincoln Riley. It's not setting the offensive ticker on fire. But I think BYU, especially with it being at home for the Cougars, picks up the dub, and that is where they get their 3rd loss. Essentially, for me, I'm saying Oklahoma ends up 8-4 in the regular season. Obviously, not enough to play for the conference title, but an improvement, which is what we're looking for. When you're starting from a standpoint of 6-7, even getting to 7-6 is an improvement. But we need to be higher. I think with TCU, yes, again, with some of the key games in their schedule. Yes, the players that TCU has by then will be developed. But I do think, personally, that Oklahoma will lose this game and finish the season 8-4. This could be a knockout, drag-out brawl, or TCU could run away with it. Personally, I would want to see a close game, a drag-out, knockout brawl, but I can see it going either way just because we have so many questions on both sides of the ball. So, that being said, there you have it. That is my opinion and my preview of the 2023 Oklahoma Sooners football schedule. Please feel free down below to comment, like, and most of all, subscribe. Thank you all again so much, as we now have 2 videos over the 1K mark, and we have finally hit 100 subs. We're actually over 100 subs. So thank you again so much. I appreciate everyone that subs to the channel and continues to come back and watch my videos. So be on the lookout, as we are going to start to try to crank out more and more team previews in the near future. Thank you again, and everyone have a wonderful day.